Welcome to the Lakeshow podcast. It's a weekly deep dive into the biggest stories and topics surrounding the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm Allie Clifton, joined by my Spectrum SportsNet co-host, Chris McGee, our Laker insider, Mike Bresnahan.
It's flexing. It's playoff time.
We've made it. 82 of 82.
82 games down.
That's an accomplishment.
Season ended yesterday.
Yes,
That's crazy.
No playing for the Lakers.
How do we
You
feel
know
about
what, guys? We're right back at it today. That's what we do.
it? We are.
That's
No
what we do
rest
for
the
each
weary.
other.
How do we feel about it?
The Laker fans. Go ahead, Brez.
I think they actually got a pretty good draw. Like, I did not want to see them play Golden State in the first round. I kind of wanted them to avoid Denver, even though Denver's struggling. Now, Minnesota scares me a little bit, and here's why. This team was obviously a big trade right before training camp, and they struggled. Going into March, they were 3 games over 500. Big deal. Since then, they went 17-4 to end the regular season. So they're kind of on a roll, this Minnesota team. But, I think if you control Ant-Man, you're in pretty good shape. You could probably neutralize Gobert by going small ball. So there's things they can do. Even though the season series was tied at 2, I'm okay with this matchup compared to what it could have been, Geet. I mean, Golden State and Denver scared me a little bit. I think Memphis would have been the ideal matchup for this team based on recent playoff history and whatever craziness has been going on with Memphis the last month or so. But, Minnesota should be a fun, entertaining series, high-scoring games, too.
Allison, I'm very happy.
Are you?
I mean, 82 games, and you're the 3rd overall seed.
Yep.
You won 50.
You won 50. You had all this adversity along the way that you got through and navigated around, and your top 5 record in the NBA. I don't know. You should be really, really proud of that fact. Like, that's that means you had a great season. Lakers had a great season. I just don't think there's any easy draws in the first round at all. That's just the way the West is. Like back in the day, you could, when you were in Cleveland, you guys were rolling, you'd roll through that first round, second round's maybe going 5 or 6, and then you're getting to that when you're a good team. But now, there's maybe, OKC has an easy time with Memphis. Maybe. Memphis still going to get a game. Bring on Minnesota. It's going to be a tough series, but I'm just so happy to be here.
How,
Elated.
When you speak of just what the West was like, 7 of the final 10, 7 of the 10 teams, it came down to the final game of the regular season to decide their place.
Yeah.
How big of a Clipper fan were you yesterday?
Can't wait to hear this.
Because, look, we were all glued to
take.
that on top of the Laker game, of course.
It's an interesting question for you.
It is an interesting question. As someone who actually watches the NBA and you know how well the Warriors had been playing as well down the stretch.
Our setup yesterday was awesome, and it was earned. It was Masters Sunday, and the Lakers were playing right during Masters Sunday. Any other time, you're barely able to follow the Masters. But because the Lakers put ourselves in this position, that game, we had it on, of course, but it didn't matter.
Right.
It was a beautiful thing to not have to stress on the last day of the season like everybody else was.
Yeah.
And then we had the Clipper Warrior game going. We had the Masters on.
Yep.
I mean, we were watching it. It was great. So that was awesome. Was I a Clipper fan yesterday? I don't want to give any bulletin board material for Minnesota. I'll just say this because I think they're a great team. I found myself for the first time in my life
Ever.
Except when maybe I covered them for the year that I was at Fox Sports West and I traveled with the Clippers and I knew it would be a better locker room if they won. I was hoping for wins, but at that time they were battling for the Lakers to win the Pacific Division, so I wasn't rooting for them too hard. But yesterday I found myself like when Harden hit the 3 in OT, I was like, oof, like yes, like I was like, oh, I really don't. So my heart wasn't ready for the Warriors. Yeah, I love the Warrior team. I love their coaches. Steph is amazing. I respect that franchise. I love the games when we play them. I loved playing them a couple years ago. I wasn't ready for it round 1.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody, I don't want that for the NBA round 1. I know everyone else thinks it would have been awesome, but then someone's knocked out. And you're exhausted after that series, emotionally, physically. So I was ready to maybe play them round 2. So I found myself giving one of these.
Yeah.
Geet, the one year.
And that was rare. That was rare.
Very rare.
For me.
You hate them almost as much as you hate the Boston Celtics. That's a big deal for you to even say, I didn't hate the Clippers for one day. That's a big deal for you.
And they hate me. I mean, it's totally reciprocal. Like, it's not like
it was only like 28
Clipper
minutes,
fans
so you
like
really
me.
hate
I hate them. And by the way, it's all good. I think they probably hold it way more personal than I do. Like, they hate, the Clipper people hate the Lakers. Like, it's real hate.
True.
I just love heckling them because I've done it my whole life. I think they're a great team. I think Bomber's a great owner. I think they do great things. It doesn't mean I have to like them or root for them ever.
Right, ever.
And I don't understand the people that can't get that. Like, number one, take my job away from it.
Yeah.
You live in this town your whole life and you're rooting for one team. You're not, Yankee fans aren't rooting for the Mets. I think Mets fans are like, let's go Yankee. No, they're not doing that.
No. The year you covered the Clippers for the old Fox Sports West, was that like the lost year of your career? Have all the materials, all the press passes been discarded?
It's gone, but here's the deal. Remember the years leading up to that, Clippers, they weren't ever really like, it was just the 1 year, it was right before this network started, really, the strike year, when Chris Paul trade, when David Stern makes a huge mistake, his biggest blunder of his lifetime.
December 2011.
And and he nicks the trade, and he goes to the Warriors. He goes to the Clippers. That's the year that I worked for them. I mean, I traveled because Lakers were going to start a new network, so I no longer got to be the Laker guy. They just kind of were like, Fox was like, Lakers are done with us.
Banished you.
So they moved us all to the Clippers. So I traveled with them, and it was great. Like, I loved the people, and Tanisha was there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was all good. Chris Paul, great. Blake Griffin, great guys.
But
like, I'm a Laker guy. Like, right, Allie?
Yeah, absolutely. And I do not disagree with anything that you just said there, which is why I think you handled that question with, perfectly.
So I gave a little.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. And I am going to go back to the part where you said you don't want to give Minnesota any bulletin board.
Yeah.
And I agree with you on that. I mentioned and asked that question because we don't talk about Minnesota unless that game is decided, right?
Yeah.
Because we all figured Minnesota would win against Utah, and that would be the second option, obviously, for the Lakers to get them in the first round, which, as you mentioned, finished the regular season on a high note, 9-2 to close out their final 11 games. They were 1 win shy of the Lakers at 49-33. I find it so ironic that we started the preseason with them, the Lakers started the regular season with them, and now they're going to start the postseason against them. But they're 2 top 10 in terms of they got the number 8 offense coming off the regular season and a top 6 defense. I loved what JJ did say yesterday in the post game when you prepare for, and we can dive in and then after the commercial break in terms of the Luka element, having faced him last year in the Western Conference playoffs or Western Conference finals. But how JJ mentioned we could lean into a little bit of experience there from Luka in terms of beating him, but how he could also lean into Lakers assistant Greg St. Jean, who was with Phoenix last year, and they were beat by Minnesota.
Yeah.
So when you think of just what the coaching staff, especially having this time, he said it great in the pregame show about, yesterday, Sunday for much of the guys, today kind of getting off their feet, getting away. But Tuesday is going to be about the Lakers, and then they dive in Wednesday. Kind of just like the balance of...
That's the beauty of not being in the play-in.
Yes.
Like,
but this opportunity and week of preparation that they're going to get.
That's the best part of this. That's why I was so excited for them to not be in the play-in. Like, I really listen, do I want to play Denver in the first round with Jokic, the best player in the world? Not really. Do I want to play Kawhi right now and the Clippers who are playing great? Not really. Do you want to play the Warriors? Not really. Does Minnesota sound fun? No, like everybody's tough.
Yeah.
I was just happy where we were. So it's like whoever you play, you play.
Yeah.
There's no dodging anyone. There's no jockeying. The Lakers got the best possible spot that they could. Best possible spot.
And good for them. It was a 3-way tie for third, but they did all the work during the regular seseason to win a bunch of tiebreakers.
Yeah,
so
that
good for them. Didn't finish 5th like they could have in a 3-way tie for third. Yeah. They finished 3rd, and they get to rest now. And
by the way, real quick, if they didn't have that tiebreaker, everyone's playing in Portland and you're smashing them.
Yeah, exactly.
And you end up a game ahead of them. Yeah,
exactly. So by the time the Lakers, the crux to the Lakers take the court on Saturday, they'll have gone 8 days between games. Yeah. A lot of those guys got to rest in Portland. Go to the Nike company store if you want. Buy some nice gear, nice shoes. And Geet, I don't know about you, but there's something really incredible about Laker home playoff games. And there hasn't been a home series, a series that they've been the higher seed since 2012 in Los Angeles. Obviously, 5 years ago, the bubble happened. That kind of could have been a problem for the Lakers. They turned out great for them. They were the top seed in the West at the time. And we're going all the way back to 2012, Allie, since they were the host seed for a playoff series in Los Angeles. So it's pretty cool. Like, I'm excited just to see Laker playoff basketball in this city in LA. I
hopped on with Slee today, Alan Sleewa, and he said that to me. He's like, man, when you said that on air, remember I said it a while back, like it just threw me like
13 years.
2012, because the bubble was 2020. Yep. So we didn't get to start in downtown Los Angeles. So it is going to be rocking. It's going to be a lot of fun. And man, I can't wait.
Luka averaged 32, just under 10 boards, over 8 assists in 5 games against the T-Wolves in the West Final last season. How much do you think Minnesota is thinking about that?
Different team, too, now.
Even though it's a different team for Luka, how much do you think
Different team for them, too, no cat.
Oh, yeah, different for both sides. But more so.
Yeah.
Luka obviously is surrounded by a completely different roster. But do you think Rudy Gobert thought about?
Oh, Rudy wants his day, right? Like they want.
What do you think?
They want. Yeah, Minnesota's ready for. I mean, they know exactly what they're getting.
Yeah,
they know exactly what they're getting.
Who do you think will be the X factors? Obviously, we know who's headlining it.
I looked at this a little bit ago. I think for the Lakers, it's Dorian Finney-Smith. I just feel like the way he's been playing on offense lately, hitting threes around 50%. I mean, that's impressive. And, he's going to have to help out on Ant-Man. I think Jared Vanderbilt is probably going to be the primary defender. Jared's not going to start, but Dorian is going to have to, get on him quickly and really make life, both those guys really, make life uncomfortable for him. I think Dorian jumps out at me, Geet.
I like that you brought up a role player, Brez, because I feel like you know what Ant's going to do. You know what Luke is going to do. You know what LeBron's going to do. You hope AR is at a high level. You know Randall's going to be at a high level. So you know what their guys are going to do. It does come down to me when you mention X factors like, is Alexander have a good series for them? Does DiVincenzo go off? Is Jaden McDaniels hitting threes? Like, is Naz Reid a problem? Or does he have, so for the Lakers, like, you got to get some good Rui games in there.
Oh, I like that.
Got to have a couple of good Gabe games. Like, those kind of guys have to have a good series. I go back to the Memphis series 2 years ago when they won that first round series. You got unbelievable Rui games. Vando was insane on defense. Awesome. AR came to life. You also had a huge moment from D'Lo when that series was about to be tied and they were down 9 at home. I was there and he hit 3 straight threes. Like those kind of players, because you know what the stars are going to do. They're going to show out. And you have to assume they're all going to play great, right? Throughout the series. But man, it's those other guys that who wins those battles?
I am very intrigued with what you'll get from Ant because 2-2 was the season series, but I believe the Lakers held him to 19 a game. Again, it's the regular season versus postseason, completely different.
Got kicked out one time.
Got kicked out the one time. Not to mention he's coming off a career year, averaging over 27 a game, but he played 79 games and he led the league in 3-point makes.
Yeah, he beat
320.
Did not see that coming.
Beasley by 1, I think.
320.
Yeah,
like a completely different.
And Allie, their bench is going to be better, higher scoring than a Laker bench. You got Naz Reid, 6th man of the year a year ago. You've got DiVincenzo, who was part of that trade 10 minutes before training camp started, and he had a weird year.
Alexander.
Clark. Alexander, for sure. DiVincenzo had a really strange year. He was great with the Knicks last season.
Yeah.
Then he came over. He wasn't doing well in the beginning. Then he got hurt. He missed about 6 weeks, right around the All-Star break, couple before, couple after maybe. And he's been playing better lately. So I feel like he's kind of back. So the Laker bench, not the highest scoring bench in the league. In fact, they've been bottom 2 or 3 pretty much the whole season. You're going to have 2 pretty good scorers on that Minnesota bench. You're going to have to counteract that.
What's so scary about them, I think you mentioned they were top 8 defensively or whatever, but offensively. They have the ability with those guys that you were mentioning to go off. They were listen, it all ended up how we all kind of thought it would with Memphis sliding back to 8, but Memphis was this close to being 6, which is kind of what we all wanted if you had to pick one of the 8 teams. And they were in a big game with Memphis, and Memphis was up by 10, 11, the second to last game of the season, and Minnesota had a 52-point third quarter to break that game open. They have that ability.
They can light it up.
52 points. So they are frightening in that regard because it can come from a number of guys.
How excited are you guys to see JJ in his first playoffs?
Yeah.
It's funny. He, I bring up that he's a rookie coach because I bring it up in the landscape of what we're talking about. But like, he doesn't. I never think of him as a rookie coach when I think of JJ. I just think of him as a great coach.
Yeah. And
like, he has around him what you need to be successful. He's got 2 veteran head coaches in Nate McMillan and Scott Brooks right by his side. It's like when Frank, who already had a ton of head coaching experience, but he had Jay Kidd next to him and he had Holland. Yep. Like, so you need those other guys that have been in those seats before. And they're a hardworking staff. I mean, You know, Darvin was a rookie coach. That year they went to the Western Conference Finals. You know, made some great moves along the way, and that team caught fire. So I'm so excited to see JJ because I love what he talks. I love what he says after games. And you also know that he is such a strategist and that he's so about, you know, he can make adjustments and it'll be a puzzle to him.
Yeah.
And he won't sleep.
He will not be sleeping well.
For 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks, yeah.
For anywhere from 2 weeks
I'm excited
to 2
about
months.
it, Allie.
Yeah.
I'm fired up for JJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I almost forget about JJ, and here's why. The Luka trade, you know, he just reinvigorated the franchise, turned the look of the team completely around from like a ground and pound to, hey, let's score 130 every night. At least let's try. Maybe we might get there too. I just love what the front office did in bringing him on board. And of course, Dorian Finney-Smith too. I kind of forgot about JJ somewhere along the way. And it's like, it's exactly what you were saying, Geet, because he's not acting like a rookie coach. He's acting like a guy who's been doing this for 10, 15 years. And, you know, I got to stop taking it for granted because that's a great question. How about JJ as a rookie coach in the NBA playoffs? Can't wait to see what he does. I feel like he's made a lot of good moves. He's had a lot of injuries this season, you know, and he's had to reconfigure the bench. A lot of, you know, you get bumped up, you get bumped down. You lost about half your roster with the trades. Would have been more if the Mark Williams trade was not rescinded. So he's had a lot of juggling to do, and I think he's done a really good job. And he will be a top 5 candidate when all the votes are in for Coach of the Year.
He's used everyone. He's taken what's been thrown at him and had to pivot. Like, I've been so impressed with how, I mean, think about this. He starts the way he starts, and the Lakers kind of come out on fire, and the offense looks great, and they go 3-0. And then they go in like a little, you know, they have little bumps in the water, and he made a huge move early. D'Lo, you're coming off the bench, and D'Lo bought in.
Yep.
I mean, that's a big-time move. Then D'Lo gets traded. Dorian Finney-Smith comes in. Then AD's out. Max has now moved in the starting lineup. AD's back. You know, it keeps going back and forth. And then AD gets traded. Max gets traded. Jackson Hayes, you're in. Like, he's used Goody, a guy that no one even knew in crucial situations. He's not afraid to make those kind of moves. Like, he'll use whatever bench he has, but he's also totally pivoted. Like, they were a different style team, as Brez said, before the Luka trade. Now they shoot 43s a game or 38, whatever. Like, it's just, to be able to pivot how you play your game is awesome to me.
Bmore just said 47% of their shots have been from 3 since Luka became a Laker.
That is
It's
wild.
almost half your shots.
We were just a different team for 6 years, so it's hard for us to wrap our head around, right? I mean, it was built around AD and LeBron.
And you
Different
have
style of game.
Yep.
You have no choice but to shoot them because, as Dorian says, you're butt naked wide open. So
You got to shoot them.
Shoot them. Look, when you get 8 buckets of ice water thrown on you to the point where you create $17,000 worth of water damage to the carpet in the locker room and the media can't enter because you have created that environment because your teammate loves you so much. Your teammates, your team, your entire organization.
Were you there?
You're doing something right. I was.
No one was allowed in.
No, I was not allowed to do my
Is
job.
there any video
Just
from
kidding.
it? They've never.
No.
Never
I haven't
happened.
seen the ice bucket thrown on JJ. We haven't seen anything. He just came in with an Eagle sweatshirt on.
Yeah.
Looking like he took a shower.
That was great.
So here we are. You're doing something right, JJ. Lakeshow fans, remember, you can be a part of the show each week. Feel free to send us your questions and comments. We'd love to hear from you. We're going to take a quick break. More on the first round matchup versus Minnesota after the break. Welcome back to the Lakeshow podcast. If you're enjoying the show, you can check out more original podcasts from our Spectrum News journalists on the Spectrum News app. Just head to the podcast section to listen to the latest episodes. You can download the Spectrum News app on the App Store or Google Play. How about some little fun facts before we dive into a little rank-em, your favorite game, the one you created, correct?
Rank 'em.
For the first round series versus Lakers and T-Wolves. Luka was the top-selling jersey this season. He's the first international player to lead the league in jersey sales. And he's the first player not named LeBron James or Stephen Curry to lead jersey sales since 2012, 2013.
A long time.
How about this? Before his trade to LA, he was number 8 in jersey sales.
No way.
Yep. Luka's
Shocker.
number 1. Steph finished 2, LBJ 3, and then you got Jason Tatum at 4 and Jalen Brunson rounding out your top 5. And I believe it was Wemby and Edwards, 6 and 7 on there. How about that?
And
that's fun and
That's
exciting.
crazy. I mean, I used to really get into this. Like I used to, it was a great story when I was with the LA Times because Kobe was always the top jersey seller. And so it's kind of cool that the Lakers, LeBron is not number one, but he's getting it back. And the Lakers were the number one team for merchandise sales this season, too. So obviously, Laker fans get behind their guy buying his jersey. Pretty cool.
How about this? LeBron was the most viewed player on NBA social and digital platforms this season with 3.23 billion views. Second was Steph. Third was Luka. Fourth was Wemby. Nikola Jokic was fifth. So, Luka and LeBron have ranked top 5. Wow. And they do in plenty of categories. But it brings us to this point, to this fun little segment. I want you guys to rank the top 5 players in this first round matchup between the Lakers and the T-Wolves.
Starting with
both
5?
Teams.
Starting with 5? We do a reverse reveal?
Sure. Worst to best. Worst, okay.
I'm
5
gonna go,
to 1. Yeah, let's let Brez dive in.
Okay, I'm going to go Julius. Julius at 5. I'm going to go AR at 3.
4, you mean?
4.
Sorry, number 4. Does this mean 3? I was showing. Yeah, Julius at 5. What did I just say at 4? AR at 4. Then it gets really tough. I'm going to go Ant-Man at 3. And then Luka 2 and LeBron 1. Because when it comes to playoffs, I want to see winners. I want to see guys who have won the finals, have been to the finals. Ant-Man's got to show people a little something. He got fairly far last season, but not far enough. That's what I would do.
I actually need that context. I need to know what you're basing it off of.
Yeah.
So thank you for that in terms of what you're ranking and how you're ranking.
Experience and talent, kind of my
The top 3 are
mishmash.
interesting for me.
The top 3 are really interesting. That was a really good breakdown by you. I'm going Luka at 1, though.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Luka at 1. And I'm going between... I want to put LeBron at 2 because I think he's the most impactful player still, just right up there in the entire league. But Ant does so much for them, and he is their guy that can put up 40. So I'll go Ant 2 with LeBron right behind him. Even though if I'm drafting, I'm going LeBron and Luka 1 and 2. Okay, but I'll go. I'll be respectful, and I'll put Julius Randle 4, and I'll put AR at 5 to be fair.
Cool.
Okay, same 5 different order.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I was trying to think who else would crack that. Gobert. He might not be that useful in this series.
Yeah.
The Lakers have been playing Jackson Hayes 14 minutes.
I think those 5 are the 5. I don't know how you would argue that.
Yeah.
Those are the 5.
Yeah,
those are the 5 players. And then you could argue the ranking.
It's funny to leave Gobert, a however many time Defensive Player of the Year award winner, off the list, but...
Yeah, me putting LeBron at 3 sounds absolutely insane.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to respect the process of, Minnesota's got to have a guy in the top.
I feel like he and Ant-Man could be 2A, 2B.
Yeah.
But also to have LA 3 of your top 5 best in the series.
Allie, give us your 5.
I would probably go the same as you for your top 3.
Yeah.
And then I might go, you said AR at 4, Julius at 5?
I did. You can flip those? I'm okay with that.
Respective to their teams, the importance of Austin Reeves.
I know.
We actually talked about it on one of the...
I just didn't want to copy him, but who do I think is... I'd go AR, but I
one of the conversations down the stretch of not being best on the team, but most important to their roster, Austin Reeves.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Julius struggled at first. Yeah, again, quick trade right before training camp. He got better, though. He's been really... He's been, I'm not going to say really, really good, but he's been solid the last month or so.
A great player.
And then you got to go 6 through 10, which is why we talked about X Factors. And that's when it gets...
Where's Rui, Jaden McDaniel? Where do those guys all, fall in? And
probably
Gobert.
Jaden 6.
Huh?
Jaden probably 6. He's been scoring this year. It's crazy.
He's a good player.
They had some injuries from Minnesota. He was scoring like 20 a game for a while. He showed some offense.
2 more fun facts. The Lakers set to face Minnesota. LeBron will now match up against his 24th different franchise in the playoffs.
Still not the Clippers. Ever. So
that
crazy.
is insane.
That's wild.
Did you also see the stat? I saw it yesterday posted. In his 22 seasons for 20 straight years, LeBron has averaged 25 a game.
Saw that.
And it came to an end this year.
It was like 24.4.
And it came to an end this year at 24.4.
Whoa.
He could have got that easy if he wanted to.
Seriously. He could have
24
played that
points.
If he would have known that, he would have for sure. You could have.
Hey, you could be the Phoenix Suns, who owed Mike Budenholzer
What a disaster!
$10 million per year over the next 4. Thanks all of you for listening to the Lakeshow podcast.
Can I coach there for a year?
We're gonna have some fun this year. This week.
Yeah.
Seriously, pay me $10 million.
Did you know there's a new way to watch your favorite team, and it's available exclusively to Spectrum customers this season? You can watch Lakers games on Spectrum SportsNet Plus with the NBA app on us when you add internet and at least one mobile line. This offer is a slam dunk total value of $194.99. To learn more, head to spectrum.com/getlakers.